We shine a spotlight on cases of missing black women and girls. They're cases that are often dismissed or flat out ignored by law enforcement, and in some cases, the media. Well, Dashad Sage Smith is a prime example. Saturday will mark 9 years since Sage was last seen at the Amtrak's train station in Charlottesville, Virginia.
She was ready to begin living as her true self, but her chance was cruelly cut short when 19-year-old Sage Smith headed into the Virginia night and inexplicably disappeared. Nearly a decade later, what exactly happened to the black transgender teen embracing a fresh start? The key clues may live with the mystery man she set out to meet before vanishing into thin air. Tonight, we will unravel the cryptic case of a dream destroyed and seek answers to the vanishing of Sage Smith. She was born male and named Sage when she entered the foster care system. After facing a difficult childhood, she proudly declared on social media upon turning 18, "I am a girl now, respect it, authenticity," coming out publicly as a transgender woman. According to Sage's grandmother, Lolita Smith, Sage was reportedly very happy to be living her truth. She eagerly began pursuing her dream of becoming a professional hairstylist. But just as her future seemed bright, Sage mysteriously vanished on November 20th, 2012. She was last seen heading to meet Erik McFadden, a man she connected with online. In the nearly 10 years since, this case remains unsolved, the key questions unanswered. What happened to Sage Smith? And where is Erik McFadden, the sole person of interest who may hold the key clues? Sage Smith entered the world in Charlottesville, Virginia on April 20th, 1993. She faced struggles from early on as part of the foster care system from age 10. However, she stayed dedicated to her education and became the first in her family to graduate high school in 2011. After aging out of foster care, Sage delighted in having her own apartment for the first time. She enrolled in cosmetology classes, excited to one day become a professional stylist. Her grandmother, Lolita Cookie Smith, recalled how Sage radiated authentic joy at embracing her gender identity. After coming out as transgender, she legally changed her government documentation. The night Sage vanished. The evening of November 20th, 2012 began like any other for 19-year-old Sage. She woke up her roommate, Aubrey Carson, around 5:40 p.m. to say she had a date and would be back later. Sage didn't share many details, only mentioning she met the man online. Phone records later revealed Sage exchanged texts with 23-year-old Erik McFadden, confirming plans to meet up. Throughout late afternoon and early evening, Sage sounded cheerful in her communications. She wished her father a happy anniversary for completing jail time. She chatted animatedly with a stepsister she ran into while walking to the bus stop. Just after 7 p.m., a witness spotted Sage near the Amtrak station speaking about rendezvousing with someone. Soon after, she headed west down Main Street and disappeared into the night. What happened next remains unclear. Concerns rise over Sage's disappearance. Initially, Sage's loved ones held out hope her lack of contact was temporary. Her roommate Aubrey reached out to friends to see if anyone had seen or spoken to Sage. When hours passed with no word, Aubrey contacted Sage's grandmother Lolita late evening on November 20th. Lolita advised waiting until 10 p.m. or so to see if Sage returned or reached out. But when the hour passed without contact, Lolita told Aubrey to phone the police and convey her concerns. Meanwhile, around the same time, Sage's father Dean received an alert someone tried logging into Sage's Facebook account. While he guessed it was likely Sage, the timing worried him. The police began investigating by interviewing Sage's family, friends, and roommate, and piecing together a timeline of Sage's last communications and movements. The key evidence so far pointed to her plans to meet a date near the Amtrak station in downtown Charlottesville. Erik McFadden, the man Sage planned to meet. A key question surfaced over just who Sage planned to rendezvous with the night she disappeared. It soon emerged Sage referenced meeting a male companion named Erik, whom she connected with online. Digging into Sage's phone records and social media accounts finally revealed a name, Erik McFadden. Dean eventually came across an unfamiliar phone number among Sage's effects and posted it to Facebook, asking if anyone recognized it. One of Sage's contacts, Yanni Ortiz, realized it matched the number Erik asked her to erase earlier. With a name and number to go on, authorities reached out to Erik McFadden, but they could not locate the 23-year-old Charlottesville man. Days after Sage vanished without a trace, Erik seemingly did too. So what happened to him, and does he hold clues to Sage's fate? Authorities hit dead ends in the case. Charlottesville police continued digging into leads on Sage's baffling disappearance and her plans to meet Erik. On November 29th, Erik's live-in girlfriend, Esther Ivini, informed authorities Erik intended to bus back to Charlottesville by day's end. But the following afternoon, Erik emailed Esther claiming he still resided in New York City. In this email, Erik spun an alternative narrative on his meetup with Sage. He now claimed Sage never showed but was trying to extort and blackmail him over false claims they had sex. This shifty story conflicted with the account Erik initially gave police, denying he and Sage ever met at all. The inconsistencies only deepened suspicions. Still, when authorities reached Erik by phone on November 30th and asked him to come in for an interview, he refused. Erik vowed he'd remain in New York indefinitely before abruptly hanging up. Police have never managed to reach him again. Erik McFadden remains missing. In May 2013, nearly 6 months after vanishing alongside Sage, Erik sent one final email from an untraceable account to his girlfriend Esther. After this, the trail ran cold. Erik McFadden has never resurfaced or returned to his hometown. With their sole witness seemingly absconded, police hit dead end after dead end pursuing leads in Sage Smith's case. In 2019, nearly a decade later, police took 2 big steps to spur new progress. First, they officially classified the case a homicide investigation. While Sage's remains have never surfaced, detectives believe she tragically met foul play. This reclassification opened additional resources toward solving the mystery behind her death and disappearance. Second, in June 2019, Charlottesville police filed an official missing persons report on Erik McFadden. They now regard him as a key potential witness rather than a suspect. Authorities and Sage's loved ones hope revealing new information on the $20,000 rewards offered for tips in both cases will finally unravel the truth of what happened. Perhaps someone who knows Erik will come forward with insider details. In the decades since Sage Smith disappeared on her way to meet a man named Erik McFadden, police have hit dead end after dead end trying to trace Sage's final steps. Countless public pleas remain unanswered over what became of 19-year-old Sage that November night, and the whereabouts of Erik, who might hold the key clues, stays frustratingly unknown despite exhaustive searches. While the outcome devastates her family and community, Sage leaves behind an empowering legacy of embracing one's truth against all odds. She overcame a barrage of life's challenges to become the first in her family to finish high school. She fearlessly came out as her authentic self, a courageous young trans woman vividly envisioning her future. Nearly 10 years later, Sage deserves both justice and peace. Her bright light continues shining, an icon of the transgender community. Perhaps one day someone will finally come forward and break open this cold case that has stymied investigators and devastated Sage's family for far too long.